Hey, welcome to a new video. The main character of the film is a poor man named Akila Lacan, who is seen as a disappointment by his family and by people in France. He works hard in the advertising business for a small salary to cover his sick father's medical expenses. As he moves from one job to the next, he also spends time with his long-term girlfriend, Sakshi. One day, Akil asks her to marry him in a park. Sakshi joyfully accepts, but she insists that her strict father must approve. This bothers Akil a bit, but he still plans to visit him. Sakshi's father, Mahesh, is obsessed with money and goes to great lengths to save every penny. When Akil proposes to marry Sakshi, the miserly man outright rejects him. He declares that he won't allow his daughter to wed a poor man like Akil as long as he lives. Feeling disheartened, Akil goes to see his best friend Jugnu to take his mind off things. They talk for a while, which helps Akil feel a bit better. Jugnu even suggests going with Akil to the hospital where his father is. But when they get there, they find Akil's father, Raju, joking and dancing with a nurse. They overhear him confessing that he was only pretending to be sick to enjoy the luxury-like care at the hospital. Are you new to this channel? Make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell. And before we continue, also like the video. Shocked, Akil confronts his father and accuses him of being deceitful. He even starts to question if Raju is truly his father. To Akil's surprise, his suspicions are confirmed when Raju reveals they are not related by blood. Akil's biological father had abandoned him and his mother when he was very young. Raju met them by chance on a train that later crashed. Raju and Akil survived, but his mother did not. When the Indian government later offered a large sum of money to the relatives of those who died, Raju adopted Akil just to get the compensation. Shaken and angry by this revelation, Akil lashes out and hits the man before going back home. In the following scene, Akil shares his miserable life story with Jugnu. During their conversation, he spots a chest in his house he had never noticed before. Inside, he finds romantic letters from his real father to his mother, along with a locket containing their photos. In a dramatic twist, it turns out that Akil's real father is Panola Jori, a wealthy Indian billionaire from Bangkok who recently died, leaving behind a fortune of $30 billion with no clear heir. Akil feels a mix of sadness about his biological father's death and excitement about inheriting the $30 billion estate. He believes that finally, fortune is favoring him. After celebrating with Jugnu, Akil travels to Bangkok to attend his father's wake. There, he meets Mr. Joe Reed's lawyer, Sheikh. Akil quickly introduces himself as Mr. Joe Reed's long-lost son, staking his claim on the billionaire's legacy. He offers to show proof, but Sheikh immediately trusts him because Akil bears a strong resemblance to his late mother, whom Sheikh had met several times before she died in the train crash. After the introductions, Sheikh shares some shocking news. He tells Akil that he is not the heir to the Jori Empire because the late billionaire had transferred all his property to someone else before passing away. It turns out that this someone is Mr. Jori's faithful dog named Entertainment. With a name like that, it's implied that the dog was quite the character, hinting at its quirky traits. Akil is stunned and refuses to believe that his father would leave all his wealth to a dog. Sheikh tries to comfort him and reveals that after Akil's mother passed away, Mr. Jori felt remorse for abandoning his son and tried to find him. When he couldn't locate Akil, he fell into a deep depression. In a desperate moment, Mr. Jori almost did something tragic, but the dog, Entertainment, saved him. From then on, they became inseparable. Sheikh asks Akil to refrain from calling Entertainment just a dog, explaining that Mr. Joe Reed never saw Entertainment as an animal, but as his son. Upset by this turn of events, Akil starts to curse his luck. He feels that no matter what blessings he receives, he ends up losing them. Soon after, Jugnu arrives in Bangkok, hoping to enjoy a luxurious life with Akil. However, upon learning about the dog inheriting the fortune, Jugnu is also shocked. Seeing Akil contemplating giving up and going back to India, Jugnu intervenes, warning that returning empty-handed would mean Akil could never marry Sakshi. Instead, Jugnu suggests a drastic plan: eliminate the dog and reclaim the inheritance. Akil is initially reluctant, but considering his future, he reluctantly agrees. Following this development, Akil approaches Sheikh and asks to be made the dog's caretaker, arguing that it's the least he deserves. To his surprise, Sheikh agrees. But instead of becoming the caretaker, Akil is assigned as Entertainment's personal maid. Despite this setback, he and Jugnu begin devising a plan to eliminate the dog. They consult a book titled 500 Ways to Kill by Accident. Initially, they attempt to electrocute Entertainment by tampering with the kitchen fridge. But the plan backfires, and the dog ends up electrocuting them instead. The next day, the duo tries to lure Entertainment into the jungle with a female dog, intending for wild animals to attack him. However, Entertainment outsmarts them and makes it back home safely, while Akil accidentally falls from a height and gets injured. In another scheme, they attempt to poison Entertainment's food, but once again, the clever golden retriever outwits them. During their numerous unsuccessful attempts, Jugnu and Akil find out about two brothers, Karan and Arjun, who are Mr. Joe Reed's second cousins. The story shifts to the central prison, where Karan and Arjun are incarcerated for plotting to murder Mr. Joe Reed in a bid to seize his estate. Each time, however, Entertainment thwarted their plans and protected his master. Despite nearing the end of their sentences, with release due in just 2 days, they craft a plan to break out early to celebrate Arjun's birthday outside prison walls. These brothers are not the sharpest tools in the shed. They manage to execute their escape, but during the final stage, they fail to board their getaway train due to a blunder by the bumbling younger brother, Arjun. They are eventually recaptured and returned to their cell. This leads to a heated argument between them, during which Karan almost hits his younger stepbrother. This confrontation leaves Arjun questioning whether Karan really cares about him. In an emotional turn, Karan reassures him of his unconditional love, despite their being stepbrothers. They make up and celebrate Arjun's birthday right in their jail cell. Their spirits lift even more when they hear about Mr. Jory's recent death. Meanwhile, Sakshi and her money-hungry father, Mahesh, travel to Bangkok after hearing about Akil's billionaire father. They go directly to his residence and meet Sheikh. Inside the lavish mansion, Mahesh is stunned by the wealth and quickly offers his daughter to the heir of the Jory Empire. Sheikh is understandably confused and initially rejects the proposal, but Sakshi persuades him by sharing their lengthy past relationship. Soon, Akil arrives with Entertainment, and it suddenly becomes clear to Mahesh that the dog has inherited all of Mr. Jory's assets. Enraged, Mahesh decides to leave with his daughter. Akil begs for a chance to explain, but Mahesh scolds him for being bested by a dog. At the same time, Karan and Arjun watch the scene from afar. Disheartened to see Akil now involved, they decide to focus their efforts on eliminating him, rationalizing that the dog will likely pass away in a few years regardless. Meanwhile, Akil and Jugnu devise yet another scheme to eliminate Entertainment. This time, their plan involves a fatal accident at Snow White Arena, a frozen lake in the mountainous region of Thailand. The next day, Akil takes Entertainment to the lake and throws a ball across the dangerously thin ice. As the dog chases after it, Akil hits the ice, causing a large crack to form and chase after Entertainment. At that moment, Karan and Arjun sneak up behind Akil and strike the ice, sending another crack towards him. Unexpectedly, Entertainment makes a quick turn and dashes back towards Akil, catching him off guard. The clever golden retriever then leaps at Akil, knocking him away from the imminent danger. Tragically, in doing so, Entertainment falls into the icy waters. Akil immediately regrets his actions as he realizes that Entertainment has risked his life to save him. He desperately begins to break the ice with his bare hands in search of the dog, but initially, Entertainment is nowhere to be seen. Overwhelmed with grief, Akil breaks down in tears and curses himself. Just then, Entertainment emerges from the water, much to Akil's immense relief. Later, Akil offers an apology to the portrait of his late father and decides to leave the mansion for good. In the following scene, Karan and Arjun arrive at the mansion with their lawyers and confront Sheikh. They assert that the Jory Empire actually belongs to Entertainment, a private limited company that Mr. Jory had started with Karan and Arjun years ago. Now, with Mr. Jory's passing, the brothers claim they are the rightful owners of the company. Sheikh disputes this, pointing out that Mr. Joe Reed's will clearly names his dog, Entertainment, and not the company. However, Karan and Arjun counter by stating that the will does not specifically mention the company. The dispute escalates to court, where the judge ultimately decides in favor of the brothers. Following their legal victory, Karan and Arjun waste no time in evicting the dog from the mansion. This turn of events leaves Sheikh heartbroken and nearly without hope. However, upon hearing about the court's decision, Akil and Jugnu return from their trip. At the airport, Akil pledges to reclaim the property for Entertainment. His plan involves sowing discord between the two brothers to gain the upper hand. Akil starts by earning their trust after saving them from an ambush by Entertainment and his canine companions. He then leverages this incident to secure a position as a servant in the mansion. One day, Akil receives a call from Sakshi, who tells him that her father is planning to marry her off to an NRI. Concerned, Akil quickly creates some fake documents and uses them to convince Mahesh that he has finally inherited Mr. Joe's estate. With that issue resolved, Akil devises a plan to create a rift between Karan and Arjun by making them both fall for Sakshi. The plan initially succeeds, causing the brothers to compete for her affections. However, they eventually resolve their differences and decide to release Sakshi from their pursuit. After this strategy fails, Akil decides to exploit another of Karan and Arjun's vulnerabilities: their fear of ghosts. One evening, Sheikh visits the mansion to warn the brothers that Entertainment died from starvation, and his ghost would haunt them. Akil then feeds into their fears with tales of haunted animals, intensifying their terror. That night, Entertainment, disguised as a ghost, terrifies the brothers. The next day, Akil approaches Karan and falsely claims that his brother orchestrated the ghostly appearances to scare Karan away and seize the property for himself. Akil then tells the same story to Arjun. Later, as the brothers confront each other, Jugnu secretly records their conversation. During their heated argument, they accidentally confess to bribing the judge to win the property case. Just as they realize their conversation was recorded, Jugnu accidentally drops the CD. However, before the brothers can destroy the evidence, Entertainment quickly snatches the CD, safeguarding it. Then Akil and the others emerge. Enraged, the brothers threaten them and send their thugs after Entertainment. A lengthy chase ensues, with the dog being pursued across the city. Just as the thugs are about to catch him, Akil steps in and tackles them alone. He successfully fights them off, but Karan and Arjun chase the dog to a stadium. There, just as they're about to hurt the animal, Akil intervenes again. A fierce fight breaks out, and during the struggle, Karan fires a shot at Akil. But Entertainment heroically jumps in front of him and takes the bullet. This angers Akil, who then furiously beats Karan and Arjun. He is about to shoot the brothers, but stops when Sakshi shouts that Entertainment is still alive but needs urgent medical attention. Hearing this, Akil frantically carries the dog through the Bangkok's bustling streets to a hospital. There, doctors manage to remove the bullet, but Entertainment's heart shows no signs of activity. Distraught, Akil starts crying and in his frustration, punches the dog, accusing him of betrayal. Miraculously, the punch restarts Entertainment's heart, and the dog revives, bringing immense relief and happiness to Akil. Once fully recovered, Entertainment is brought back to the Jory mansion. There, Mahesh finally approves of Akil for marriage, acknowledging that Sakshi would be fortunate to have such a kind-hearted man as her husband. At the same time, Karan and Arjun also arrive to apologize, and Entertainment chooses to forgive them. In a heartfelt scene, he looks them in the eye. In the final scene, Akil and Sakshi tie the knot and celebrate with vibrant dance moves to a classic Bollywood track. Entertainment also finds companionship with a female dog, and the entire cast joins in a group dance. The movie concludes with both couples living blissfully. I hope you enjoyed it. If so, like, subscribe, and share this video with a friend. See you in the next one.